My name is Ryan Clark. I work for a company called All-in-One Productions, and I have an electronic music project called Attack the Decay, Sustain the Release. Today, I am working on a sample library. With All-in-One Productions, we went out to a poultry farm, and while I was there, I recorded a whole bunch of machine sounds in their production facility, and ambience and all sorts of things. So I wanted to clip that all together and put it into a sample library and release that. I just wanted to talk a bit about today about how to comp. Comp in today I'm trying to comp in some sub bass onto a sample that was lacking bass. So basically what I did is I have one of my samples here. Here, I'll play it so you can hear it. So that was processed with EQ compression, put a hall reverb on it, and kind of just changed it into a more of a cinematic type hit, but I felt it was lacking a lot of low end. It's mostly mids and highs there, right? So what can I do about this? So if I click on this audio track and I go up to audio here, I can get my statistics. And basically what I do is every time I do my statistics, I'll select all of the audio samples that I have. Anytime I process anything, I'll do this. And I'll look at the DC offset. If the DC offset's anything but is at something other than 0%, I'll go up to audio here, go into process, and go remove DC offset, and remove all the DC offset onto all of the audio tracks that are selected. Next step of what I can do is I can use the spectrum analyzer. Right now it's set to mono left. We don't want that. We have a stereo track, so I'm going to select stereo, process that, and my spectrum analyzer will pop up. If I hit the frequency log here, it'll kind of just show me in more detail of where the frequency is actually lying, so I can see it. From this reading, as I can tell if I put my mouse pointer up here, it's showing that the peak of the low frequency content's maxing out at 170 hertz, and anything before that, low frequency data is just not there. So what I need to do is replace that frequency void and bring all that low frequency content up to about that level. So what I did was I made an instrument track, which I put down below here because I'm not using it right now. Actually, what I should do is tell you how I got the key signature. So basically, if I go into statistics, the estimated pitch, it says is at 48 hertz, which is G0 on your keyboard. That kind of gives me an idea of what note to play on the keyboard to get that sub bass to interact with that original sample in the proper frequency range, I guess. So I'm using Massive, Native Instruments Massive, and basically all I did was I went into the browser here and I selected bass, and I wanted a dry bass. So I went down until I found something that resembled a sub kind of sound that I was looking for, and it got me into this preset, Kick Me in the Subs. And basically from there I went into the envelope, and I turned the decay all the way up and the attack all the way down, and made sure all the envelopes were relatively the same. Because I want no attack at all. I want it to come in right away. So I played the G0 note on my keyboard, recorded the MIDI note to line up with this hit here, and then I exported that out into audio. And before I got it back, there was a peak right in the front, and it kind of trailed down, and the tail. So basically I just found a region of that sub bass that was consistent all the way through and clipped it. And when I clipped it, I made sure I clipped it to this 0 crossing right here. So that way when you duplicate it, it doesn't make clicks and pops. The original sample was too short, so I had to duplicate it to make it longer. And that's kind of why I wanted the consistent range here, the consistent velocity. So that way you could duplicate it many, many times and not have it pop. I'll show you there. Here we go. Oh, well, I forgot that I already made an edit on this before, so that didn't really work the way I wanted it to. But basically, if you clip on the 0 crossing, I made an edit at the beginning and I moved it around, so I don't think that's going to work very well right now. Yeah, it's making clipping sounds. But basically, by clipping on the 0 crossing, it'll prevent those clicking sounds from happening, which worked before for me, but right now it's not for some reason. Anyways, so I got my audio recording here of my sub, and when I mix stuff, I like mixing my sample to hit the meter to -6 dB, and it gives me some room to play with. So what's going on with the sub bass? Basically what I did was, since it's just a consistent tone, here I'll show you. Oh, I can't show you because I have automation on it. Damn, that's okay. So nice. That is actually pretty awesome. So what I did was, once I had this out into an audio form, I just automated the volume to match the envelope of the original sample. So I saw the original sample at the very beginning here is very high, right? That's the heaviest hitting part. So I kept that at 0. And then I saw right about here that it started dipping down into the decay part. So I tried to mimic that envelope setting with the automation here and see how it kind of dips back up here. So I made sure the volume dipped back up. And that's kind of crazy. So yeah, there you go. Right there. This is kind of crazy. I don't know what's going on here. Anyways, so yeah, basically that was my goal, is just to mimic the envelope of the original sample for the sub bass so it would mesh well together, right? And the end result was this. Oh, that was not the end result, because that's not what I wanted at all. There we go. Brought it back down to normal now. Oh, no, I didn't. There we go. So there you go. What I was doing there is I was hearing that click. There was a click, so I just put a fade at the end to get rid of that click sound. Since I have a lot of reverb on it, I'm not going to lose a lot of dynamics by doing that, because the reverb tail will carry it out. And down here I just saw that the automation was being brought up. For some reason, I don't know why, so I just brought it back down so you'd have a smooth transition down. There we go. I am going to put this down here because this automation is only affecting the audio and not the reverb that's on it. So it doesn't make sense to be trying to edit the volume of the reverb because you're not going to hear that. So I'm just going to get this envelope perfect. That sounds pretty good to me. It sounds a lot more natural than how it was just a consistent tone originally. So now if I play these both together, you have yourself a nice hit, a nice cinematic subby hit. So here's the original, and this is with the sub on it. And when I mix the sub in, I want to automate it so it hits -6 dB, just like the original hit. And I wanted to do that so the hit was just as powerful as the regular sample, so to really cut through the mix and give you that nice cinematic feeling to it. And to put a longer tail on the sub bass, like I was mentioning before, I have a reverb here, and I got a bright hall, a long hall on it that lasts for about a bar. The tail lasts for about a bar. So it gives you that nice strong, that nice long drawn out tail on the end of the bass and making it sound a lot more natural. And then I felt like there wasn't enough low end in the actual synthesizer itself. So what I did is I applied this low air plugin, which boosts all the low frequency content. It gives you this kind of low, it boosts the low frequency content in the low area here, but in the low air area, it'll give me a lot more, it'll push a lot more air out of the subs. And I set this to 55 hertz. So when I was sweeping through it, it kind of gave me the best sub frequency sound that I was looking for. And then I used the exact same plugin and I put it after the reverb, because when the tail of the reverb was happening, I felt like there's too many mids and highs in there, and I really wanted the bass to continue through the tail of the reverb. So when I reanalyzed my sub bass here. Reanalyzed, there you go. And I was seeing that there was a lot of low frequency content missing from about 47 hertz downward. So I thought I could fill up that void a lot more by putting one after the reverb tail and tuning that to 35 hertz and just pushing that so it was just about at the clipping level here. Or sorry, it was at about -6 dB again. And that kind of filled the really low sub bass frequency spectrum for me. And yeah, that is how it was done. And here's the final sample again. Thanks for watching my video. It was my first video, and I'm looking forward to doing more in the future.